really sunny and it's been very nice lately, so I'm really excited to go out there and get my hands in the dirt. What's up? It's Paige here at Cultivating Harmony. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So today I have a ton of things to do, as if you couldn't tell by the mess on my table. So today I need to get done a lot of like gardening type things. You know, spring is here, so I need to go ahead and get our garden beds prepped. They really just need to be fortified, well. So once we get our veggies and everything in those, that they're going to do really well and be really prolific and give us some very healthy, nutritious foods. And I also need to get all my seeds started. So you can see that kind of disaster threw up here on my table. I want to know if your seed starting mess is as big as mine. Go ahead and let me know below in the comments. Every year, what I do is get out everything I've used. I have some seeds of my own and things like that, and figure out where I'm going to put certain things in the garden. So kind of also experimenting sometimes with just moving things. So sometimes, things do better with more or less shade, or, moving the taller plants back so the smaller ones can get more sun, and so on. So just kind of experimenting overall with the setup and what we are eating every year. I like to get it all down on paper ahead of time. This is kind of the January, February planning of, the excitement of feeling like, spring's upon us, and it's something we can get excited about and start looking forward to, and just kind of building that vision, right, for the spring and summer. So I already have my basic garden bed plans written up, and I also have, where we'll place them, hopefully. I've determined, what seedlings I need to plant when, and I really want to get some of the seeds going today for some of those. So I'm actually a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. There's no time to start but the present. So, that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So before we head outside, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a little secret. That is actually wood ash. So wood ash is something really great, and it's been used in, over the centuries for so many different things. One of the things I find really interesting, besides for soap making, you can get lye from the wood ash. It's also used as nixtamalization. So basically the water, lye water that you can pull from the ash is something that helps basically like break down corn and make it more edible. And I had a friend from Honduras, and she said, yeah, that was, very common custom thing that, they would soak it in this wood ash water and go ahead, and that's what they would use to make like tortillas and things. So that's really great to know. I wouldn't try it at home unless you know the actual proper way to pull the lye water from the wood ash, because I think it's probably a complicated process. And I know lye is otherwise dangerous. So just, don't do it unless you know or have been taught by a professional. But just good information, and like I said, it's also really great to replenish the garden beds of nutrients. So I really like to try and use everything we have, so we will fill this up and go ahead and take it outside. So you guys can tell it is just sunny and beautiful today out. So one of the things I like to do before I go ahead and start gardening is get some coconut oil on my hands, so, or lotion if you have lotion. Really just get something on your hands so they don't get really dried out, and it's also easier later to just, wash off a lot of the dirt and things that will get in there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I already opened up a few of the bags of worm castings, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of rake that over everything and smooth everything out. Go ahead and show you guys the type of worm castings that I picked up this year. I just happened to get these from Costco, so I just got enough bags to try and fill the garden with. So this right here is actually my my strawberry, asparagus, and a garlic bed for this year. So we'll see how it goes. These are something that I use all the time in the spring to protect my plants, you know, my seedlings from the chickens, raccoons, you know, squirrels, and rabbits. They're really great, but they're actually just a laundry basket from the dollar store. Now, I found that I needed so many cloaks over my plants that it really wasn't economical to go ahead and buy some of the ones that you see on Amazon, you know, or like you get 5 for, you know, $100 or $200. It's kind of crazy. So why don't you go ahead and check out your local dollar store and see if they have any in stock in case you need some to be protected this spring. So you can see here that I actually have these currently covering my blueberry plants. So go ahead and, you know, keep spreading out the old hay bale I have. I'm going to have to eventually, once I get everything fortified here, actually go ahead and mulch over everything. The mulch really helps retain all the water, so I don't have to, you know, go ahead and use as much water during the spring and summer to water my plants. You can see here, I'm just actually throwing in some old leaves from the fall and some hay that has fallen out. But what I'm really excited about is some of my garlic in this bed has already started sprouting, and this is actually my first year growing garlic. So as you can imagine, I am excited to see what comes of that, and I will go ahead and give you guys a close-up of my garlic sprouts in just a minute. So I actually got about 100 garlic planted in the fall, so we'll go ahead and see what comes of it this year. And not to forget about my strawberries, who are just trying to peek out right now as well. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get the wood ash thrown on. You can see here that I also have a bag of some natural fertilizer pellets. It's actually really just chicken manure. I'll go ahead and link it below in case anybody's interested. But we really just try to refortify the beds the best we can every year and, you know, give back what we take out. So another fun project I'm doing this year is I'm going to try and start growing some ginger. So this isn't really something that typically grows here outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in a container and see what happens. So I'm just using some ginger that had started sprouting in my kitchen after it's been here for a little while, and broke it apart, and I'm going to throw it in and cover it up, and we will see what happens this spring and summer. Let me know below if you guys have ever tried growing ginger in containers. Alright, so now we're back inside, and I needed to show you guys a couple things. You know, I have a ton of old trays that I have used, you know, in previous years that I am going to also use today, and I'm trying something a little different. Also, I'm doing the cow pots. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but they're supposed to be composted manure that they have, you know, made into, you know, a little recyclable. Or, you know, I guess you could actually directly plant these as well into the garden, which is really great. We'll see how they turn out. You know, one of the points that I wanted to make today is that a lot of times people will say, well, I don't have the right dirt, or I don't have the containers, you don't have this or that. And I just really want to encourage you to, you know, not do that. Just go ahead and use what you can. I know that even in hard times when people didn't have, you know, things available, or, you know, in other countries, you know, I've heard of people even just using, like, digging plastic cups out of the garbage and, you know, using those to plant seedlings in, or even taking, like, old empty jars and actually using those as cloaks over garden seedlings and things like that. So really, I encourage everyone to, you know, to kind of just take a leap of faith and give it a try. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the right things. Just get started. and see what happens. In my experience, that has been the best way to do things. So with that, I have some like potting soil over here that I just scooped into a box. And then I also bought some of this, I'll link it below, Fox Farm soil from the ocean forest. I don't know, it's supposed to have earthworm castings and bat poop, so it's really great. And I'll just use a combination, but like I said, you really don't have to have anything special. Go dig up the dirt you have outside and use that. The great thing about saving your own seeds is, you know, they're kind of unlimited in terms of amount. These are all the seeds that I was able to save out of one little squash. If you guys would like to see me do a seed saving video, go ahead and let me know below in the comments. Every year, even the, you know, professional gardeners, you know, learn something new or, you know, experience something different. You're not going to ever get, especially as a homesteading or home gardener, you're never going to get 2 identical years where everything is the same. So that's really one of the great things about gardening, right? Is that, you know, giving it your all and seeing what comes of it. Every year is so different, and what does well, what doesn't, depending on the weather, where you put things, what you decide to do that year, you know. I'd like to think that every year I get a little more brave and try something new. That's kind of, you know, what has been my goals. You know, every year try something different, you know, whether it's a new seed or, you know, a new method or, you know, whatever it is. Just really try to stay flexible. Don't get too caught in doing things one way, because we really need to, I think even as society, is to learn to be more adaptable, more flexible. I think it also helps a lot with creativity as well. So, those are some of my lessons from the garden, if you will. You know, it's so fun to kind of imagine what your garden's going to look like every year. Just because, you know, right now, especially like as you saw as I was outside cleaning and fertilizing the beds, that it's kind of depressing and it doesn't look like much, right? It's kind of, you know, empty. But imagining what's going to be there, and you will see in a short few months how much growth can happen. It's so amazing, and it's going to look like a jungle basically out there soon. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the things that I have started in my garden, how I fortify and replenish the soil, as well as some of my tips and tricks on trying to protect your seedlings. Let me know if you would like to see a garden update by liking this video. See you next time.